KREM 2 News 10 at 10 begins now with Mark Hanrahan and Jeremy Legoo.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. An update tonight on breaking news from 6. The I-90 off-ramp at Hamilton back open tonight after a car came crashing down from above. It happened tonight just before 6 o'clock at I-90 in Hamilton. That closed one lane of the I-90 off-ramp for about an hour. According to the Washington State Patrol, the car crashed over the rock wall at Arthur and 5th, landing on the freeway below. Troopers say that crash caused only minor injuries. KREM 2 reached out to Spokane police for more information. We are still waiting to hear back tonight. We are also learning more about what caused a small plane to crash at Felts Field in Spokane earlier this afternoon. According to airport officials, a twin-engine plane landed just short of one of the runways today. That plane only had the pilot on board. Officials say no one was hurt. The NTSB is now investigating. Less than a month ago, WSU football was ranked in the top 20 and had hopes of making the college football playoff, but those hopes were dashed after the Cougs dropped 3 consecutive games, including a loss to Wyoming over the weekend. Now there are big changes coming to the program. KREM 2's Caitlin Galloway has more on some big coaching changes announced today. Caitlin?
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, some pretty big shakeups coming out of Washington State this morning into this afternoon. The bottom line is the Cougs will have changes at both defensive and offensive coordinator next year. Jake Dickert announced this morning that he has fired defensive coordinator Jeff Schmedding. This comes after the Cougs lost 3 straight games to teams with losing records to end the regular season. The Cougs gave up nearly 430 yards of offense per game on average. This evening, offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle and the University of Oklahoma finalized a deal for him to be their next OC. The Coug offense ranked 12th in the nation in scoring, averaging 37 points per game. This is the 3rd time head coach Jake Dickert has had to replace both coordinators in the offseason in his tenure at WSU. We'll keep you updated on any additional moves and information on the upcoming bowl game, including who will fill in the interim once that information is announced. In the newsroom, Caitlin Galloway, KREM 2 Sports.
All right, Caitlin, thank you very much. And now to our night beat with a quick look at today's top stories. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office celebrated the official launch of its real-time crime center. That's expected to improve public safety. The RTCC is the first of its kind in Washington. The center uses Flock, a license plate reading system that alerts RTCC and deputies when a vehicle of interest is spotted. The center also uses mobile camera systems, which are retired patrol cars with cameras mounted up on top. We are getting new numbers from the Spokane Police Department's 1-month emphasis on downtown Spokane. The CORE program ended in October. They focused on crime hotspots in downtown, including 2nd and Division. Police Chief Kevin Hall says the core area downtown represents only 0.5% of the city's total land area, but disproportionately represents trespassing and drug offenses. Chief Hall says of the 190 contacts officers made during that 1-month period, only 13 people accepted treatment for things like addiction. A Spokane church says they are not going to let vandalism stop them from supporting Israel. Vandals targeted the Plymouth Congregational Church over the weekend. Church officials say they spray painted an electronic sign that read, quote, "We stand with Israel," covering it with the word genocide. The church says they found it just before the service on Sunday morning. The church says they've reported the vandalism to police and they are working to fully clean up that sign. They have since changed the message to read, "We stand with Israel." And that was your night beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. A tragic ending to the search for a missing woman near the Mount Hood National Forest. Investigators say she's been found dead, and now her husband is in custody charged with 2nd-degree murder. The body of Susan Lane Fournier was found on Friday near East Highway 26. She was reported missing back on November 22nd after she didn't show up for work. Lane Fournier had filed for divorce just weeks prior. Co-workers say she told them she was going through some personal issues.
She just notified us, I'm going through some stuff where I have problems. So that's why a couple of weeks she brought in the dog with her all the time in the parking lot for her safety.
Initial reports suggested that she might have been hiking with her 2 dogs in the Mount Hood National Forest. Yesterday, investigators revealed both of her dogs were also found dead. All right, let's talk weather now. A foggy and cold day across the region today. Even saw some freezing fog. So let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo for more on what we can expect tomorrow. Jeremy?
Well, Mark, it looks like more of the same. I think we are going to see a couple of patches of maybe a little bit of a freezing mist or a couple of light snowflakes. That just comes with this weather pattern. 30 degrees is where we currently sit, and fog has formed once again. Visibility down to about a half a mile in airway heights, a little bit better across the Palouse, but expect it to worsen through tomorrow morning. We still have our ridge of high pressure overhead, and that ridge is what's going to keep the fog at play. With no real change in the forecast, don't expect any changes here at the surface. What is likely is that early tomorrow morning, we'll see a little bit of a weak wave of energy move through. And what that could possibly do is squeeze some of the moisture from the atmosphere. Watch the little dots that pop up. I don't know if you even saw them. They are that minuscule. What it's saying is that we have the possibility of squeezing some moisture from this fog, whether that be a little bit of a freezing mist or a couple of snowflakes is to be determined. Tomorrow afternoon, if that happens, we might see sunshine, but really it's more of the same for the next few days.
All right, sounds good. Jeremy will check back in with you later in the show. Tonight, Spokane City Council passed a resolution showing their opposition to the purchase of state-owned land in Latah Valley to a housing developer. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy in the studio tonight with more on the decision. Connor?
The resolution the council voted on is asking the Department of Natural Resources to wait 180 days before selling the land to Bloom Fern Development out of Redmond for millions of dollars. Many who spoke Monday night say the decision threatens wildlife and needs more time before anything new is done to it. Jeff Lambert's an environmental scientist consulting on conservation issues within the Latah Valley, something Spokane City Council's passionate about.
That the City Council appreciates the value of the Thorpe property.
Home building company Blue Fern Development also sees the value of the nearly 200 acres of land owned by DNR located near West Thorpe Road. If the purchase goes through, the Redmond company plans to build nearly 1,000 homes there, with land set aside for parks, fire stations, and civic centers.
As we've heard through our process on our other project, a lot of these things are needed in Latah Valley.
Blue Fern CEO Benjamin Paulus advocates the purchase, calling it a good resource for the community. But Spokane City Council members aren't exactly keen about it.
Looking at the animal tracks and really recognizing that this is a wildlife corridor.
And they weren't the only ones. Several people, including Lambert, stated the land shouldn't be used for the project.
The natural characteristics make it perfect for nature education.
Council voted 5-2 in support of the delay, saying more time should be spent figuring out the best way to use the land. A public comment meeting scheduled for this Wednesday at the Spokane Central Library. There, people can directly tell DNR their opinions on the matter. Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
All right, Connor, thank you very much. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time.